Hello, my name is Jackie Stevens. Today I am going to present my interpersonal communication project. First, I will give you an overview of what my presentation will cover. The first area, I will give you an introduction. Next, I will define interpersonal communication. Then I will give you an overarching goal. Next, we will cover the behavior blend, the 4-personality behavior blend, and I will give you my background and how my personality blend correlates. Next, we've all had a new understanding of how to become great communicators, great listeners, and through that, we all, I'm sure, have encountered barriers. I will give you a few that I actually discovered, and then I will give you resources and strategies to those communication barriers. Next, I will finally give you an action plan of how I plan to improve my communication skills. And then we will end with the conclusion. Next. First, Stewart recognized that interpersonal communication is a subset of communication. We all have learned, we all have been exposed to communications from birth. Perhaps our parents talked to us when we were in the womb. That was the beginning of communication. The key is understanding communication and how to make it effective. Stewart defines communication as the continuous, complex, collaborative process of verbal and nonverbal meaning making. Then he went on to explain interpersonal communication. It's the term interpersonal that labels the kind of communication that happens when people involved talk and listen in ways that maximize the presence of the personal. I was reading an article that they gave a great description from Georgiana Simanusa. She defines to communicate means to put on the map, to let people know, to inform, to tell, or to tell or about people, social communities, to interlink, to interrelate with, to talk to, as well as to be related to lead to. I thought that was very interesting. Next slide. My overarching goal. Through my interactions with family, friends, and professional encounters, my overarching goal is to be a platform to empower others to build self-identity, self-confidence, self-worth, self-respect by offering words of wisdom, being empathetic, genuine, and warming that will allow the foundation for a healthy, holistic being. Because to me, that's what communicating, that's what interacting is. Being able to make, listen, building, finding the truth out from communicating. Enlarging the conversation. Conversations are a blend of personalities, emotions, thoughts, ideas, attitudes, and beliefs taken from various cultures and environments, elaborated together to create meaning. The values, norms, and beliefs formulates the personality of the conversation. Stewart indicates a link between the quality of your communication and the quality of your life. Next, we're going to go over the 4 personality types. D, I, C, S. The D is active, task-oriented. The characteristics are dominating, directing, demanding, determined, decisive, doing. The I is active, people-oriented. The characteristics are inspiring, influencing, inducing, impressing, interactive, interested in people. The S, passive people oriented, steady, stable, shy, security oriented, servant, submissive, specialist. The C, passive, task oriented, cautious, competent, calculating, compliant, careful, contemplative. My personal behavior blend, it's expected of me that I am a steady doer, SD. Me, competent, steady doers, CSD. Next slide. This is expected of me. I am as a DS. People expect me to be dominant and submissive, achiever, driver and determination. I am a stick it to it and steadiness, a dreamer, a hard worker, patience and sensitivity to persevere. But I tend to be more supportive as a servant type who patiently waits until most of the problems are solved. This was perfect. This identified, related to me on point. This is me. Submissive, competent. I tend to be passive, but I sometimes surprise people with my dominant ways. I can be active, decisive, sweet and sensitive, compliant. I don't tend to be talkative or crowd pleaser, quiet and shy, reserved because of my soft and contemplative tendencies. There's a part of me that doesn't like to be constantly sit still and wait for things to happen. That's me. I like to be in charge while cautiously moving forward. I also like helping. I tend to plan and prepare, but I don't always communicate well to the masses. Okay. My background. I'm a seasoned senior. I like that. Seasoned senior. I'm a woman of God, fearing God. I am the sixth of 6 children. You would always reference me as I'm the queen. I grew up on a farm community, family oriented, recent empty nester, so that's great. Enjoying that life, yes. I'm a mother of 2 children, almost adult children, but they are adult children. I'm a Christian, and my faith plays a strong role in confronting situations from a positive perspective. I believe the pressure adversities of life make us stronger, and they won't last forever. You learn how to correct, adjust, accept, minimize, and arise above the difficulties of life. I thought that my background and my behavior blend merged directly great together. It is our calling to serve and represent His greatness. Our past is no accident. It is all a part of God's plan for our life. We are to take our life experiences for our own growth and enhancing others. My communication barriers are perception. Present yourself with clarity. Sometimes I find that I'm not clear in how I am expressing myself from communicating with others and listening to others. So that's a barrier that I'm definitely going to work towards. Self-disclosure, revealing myself to the other person as whatever's going on currently, I need to be able to relate and give them an example. I don't own the problem. Keep the ownership on the talker. That's sometimes challenging for me, is to carry on, is to take on their problem instead of just listening and let them work through that so that they can get the answer themselves. Overanalyze. Sometimes I think too big. I think ahead, get ahead of before the situation gets to that point. So that's something that I'm definitely going to work on. Resources and strategies, change behavior, change my mindset, change thought process, mindful listening. Start listening and inhaling and exhaling before I speak. Stop and listen, and you learn so much. So those are some resources that I have learned from Peterson, reading Peterson's book and Stewart's book. Stop, inhale, and think before you speak. My action plan: interpersonal communication is a work in progress. What I really found powerful was from Peterson book, where he said, teeth marks in the tongue. Praise them. Stop it. Stop. Tendency to butt in. Just listen. Him and Hall. The talker's problem to figure out. Don't carry on no more weights. My shoulders cannot carry all of those burdens. Just listen and let the talker come to their conclusion of what's best for you, for them. Stomach talk. Share my feelings. Listen without agreeing or disagreeing. Listen without agreeing or disagreeing, and allow space. Conclusion: if we are to imitate God's love and genuineness, then we have to build a therapeutic alliance of empathy, genuineness, and warmth to mankind. God encourages us to help others. Romans 15:1-2 says, we who are strong ought to bear with the failings of the weak and not to please ourselves. Each of us should please his neighbor for his good, to build him up. It is our duty to serve and help lift up our brothers and sisters in Christ and not make it about our own gratification. It's important to build coalitions, consensus, and partnerships that we will help, guide, and direct healthy relationships. Thank you so much for listening.